Welcome to the launch of our new show, The Episodes. We taped this as a test shoot and have decided to share it with you. We hope to build on this with your feedback and make the show all of ours, something the entire Star Trek community can enjoy and participate in and look forward to. It seemed poignant to launch our show with the episode that launched the Star Trek franchise. So, we here at the Shuttlepod Show watched The Cage, the original pilot from the original series. And then we talked about it. Dominic, Connor, Mark, Joe, and myself all learned more about Star Trek. And we hope you do too. Thank you for being with us. Y'all are rad.
With that, I just want to introduce and thank our very good friend, Joe Banno, who has done an excellent review of the show. He is a notable theater director, an award-winning opera director, a fine arts critic. He's written for some of the biggest newspapers in the country, reviewing fine arts and movies. He's a cinephile and a very good friend. And he is going to be reviewing these episodes as we watch them. And here is his first review of The Cage.
All right.
Hi, I'm Joe Banno, and I've got something to say about Star Trek. More specifically, the original series, the Trek, from 1966, Season 1, Episode 1, The Cage. It's as good a place as any for me to start, I suppose, because I must blushingly admit I'm a virgin Trekkie. Somehow, in a lifetime, roughly as long as the entire history of the franchise, I've never seen a single episode, or movie for that matter, of Star Trek. None of it. From its heyday under writer-creator Gene Roddenberry's stewardship, right down to J.J. Abrams. Nada. Sure, like anybody who's been alive and semi-conscious during that time, I haven't been able to avoid the flood of pop-cultural Trek tropes. I mean, we all know that anyone in a red shirt needs to consult their attorney to get a will in order, and that fuzzballs called tribbles evidently create issues. And that William Shatner delivers his lines like he's reading incoming Morse code off a telegraph machine. That's all public domain. But what, I wondered, explains the near pathological devotion of those millions of cosplayers to all the styrofoam rocks, the acid-trippy lighting, the incessant beep-beep-boop-booping of that laughably enormous computer. I hoped that the pilot episode might give me some clues, and it did in a couple of surprising ways. I have to say, I felt an unexpected thrill watching the Enterprise hurtling through deep space as the credits rolled. As special effects go, something way ahead of its time in believability. Ditto the opening scenes on the Enterprise, with their surprisingly noirish lighting and sleek production design. I was particularly jazzed about the Mad Men era conference room with those hipper-than-hip bucket chairs. Of course, the chairs weren't the only relic of the Mad Men era. Gender issues were, shall we say, still a work in progress. So we wind up rolling our eyes over the teeny-bopper new recruit crushing on the captain, the brainy second-in-command, desexualized, not to mention dehumanized, by the title Number One, who is told early on that she's different from regular women. And a character who unmistakably plants the show in its year of production, Vina, the shape-shifting hottie on the episode's planet du jour, who plays out a laundry list of male fantasies for the captain. But, you know, the 60s. That captain, by the way, is not Shatner's thrice familiar James T. Kirk, but a one-off turn by Jeffrey Hunter as Captain Christopher Pike. Hunter's matinee idol looks and piercing blue eyes served him well as Jesus Christ in Nicholas Ray's King of Kings and as John Wayne's callow sidekick in John Ford's The Searchers. He lends the role of Pike an introspective smolder, a gravitas. There's the troubled seeker about this guy, and his understated intensity pulls the whole Enterprise together. Pun probably intended. The rest of the cast, most notably an early iteration of Leonard Nimoy's Mr. Spock, are saddled with largely two-dimensional characters to play, but prove a solid bunch and lend credibility to whatever plot mechanics are thrown at them. Credibility, though, is pretty much thrown out the hatch door once we arrive on alien terrain. A search party is teleported down to a planet where crew members from a previous mission have crashed and are assumed to have survived. But man, how the heart sinks to see this planet's landscape in gloriously restored color, done up in just the kind of cheesy, kitschy, comically inept production design, throwback to the worst 1950s space westerns, that Star Trek's original series is notorious for. What are those boulders made of? Construction paper? Drywall? Oatmeal, for Christ's sake? Whatever your sci-fi jam happens to be, the genre is fundamentally about world building, right? You want to lose yourself exploring those landscapes of the mind, buzzing a 1920s biplane between the silvery deco skyscrapers in Metropolis, or slurping ramen under a neon-lit downpour in Blade Runner's dystopian LA. Here in the cage, the only world left to explore is a papier-mâché-covered CBS backlot on a quest to find the team of clearly hostile scenic artists and ask them the eternal question of the universe. What are you thinking with those sets? But then the big ideas in Roddenberry's script kick in, and exasperation over spray-painted tinfoil can be put aside. The story pits a self-doubting, command-weary Captain Pike against a race of conspicuously large-brained ETs. Gotta love the pulsating cellophane arteries in their frontal lobes. They want to exploit his insecurities, enslave him in a perpetual fantasy state, and make him play Adam to the eve of his fellow captive Vina, so they can create a human colony that will restore the planet's former glory. Anticipating a slew of yet-to-come sci-fi classics, the alien mind manipulation of Solaris, the wish fulfillment play acting of Westworld, and the seemingly benign but sinister totalitarian state in The Prisoner, Roddenberry creates a complex debate about free will, subjugation, and the life of the mind. Pretty heady stuff in the best traditions of, say, The Twilight Zone. So what do we make of this crazy quilt? Art direction that starts off as 2001: A Space Odyssey and winds up as Santa Claus versus the Martians. Screenwriting that overcomes its own lazy sexism to provide Dark Night of the Soul ruminations and savvy social commentary. A lead character full of psychological complexity and potential for further development, sent off into space, never to be heard from again. I guess when you come down to it, the cage is loaded with world building. It may not be a physical world you can lose yourself in, but it's certainly a world of ideas. This is Joe Banno, and that's what I had to say about Star Trek.
Fun.
Nice. Nicely
Very
done.
cool.
Yeah. That's a really well thought out.
Very well done.
Very thorough.
Yeah.
Great writer.
And I agreed. In fact, I missed some of that watching the. I got smatterings of it, but the larger ideas, the idea of exploring the human mind and seeing what the parameters of that landscape is. I missed a bit of that watching the episode. His ravaging critique of the sets, I didn't mind. I mean, I forgive them that for the time and the budget that they were probably working with. I mean, this was a brand new concept of TV, and we always know that we're limited by what the producers and the suits are going to give you to play out your dreamlike script. And I didn't mind it too much. And I think now, all these years later, the fans love the kitschness of it. It's become, Chotsky, as it were.
Yeah, I agree.
And it becomes part of its charm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you've got these big ideas that are timeless up against not so timeless backdrops of where they're trying to set them. Yeah.
Well, if you think about it theatrically, story. And, if you can do Hamlet on a bare stage, you can have very little on stage, but if you've got story and if you've got relationships and if you've got, a line to follow, I think you'll always succeed. I mean, you can always, and I agree, forgive, the sets.
I love that about this latest iteration of Dune. I mean, did you see it?
No.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I saw
it on a big screen. And it's exactly as you just said. I mean, you've got these just ginormous, almost pyramidal sets, and two characters down in the lower bottom left-hand corner doing the scene of a lifetime. and just against this huge. It's mesmeric, and it's powerful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you see us?
I could sing.
Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. Whereabouts in Australia are you?
I'm in Tasmania, so the
are you?
little island off the southeast.
Yeah.
Not Australia at all.
But don't need a passport to get to the mainland.
So were you born and bred in Tasmania?
Yeah.
Yeah, God bless.
Yeah.
Are you a devil?
Actually spent a year over in England, as a lot of people do here.
That's cool.
Lived in St Albans in Hertfordshire for a year.
You were?
You don't know me. I'm a different part of the thing, so don't worry about it. But hi, Izaak. How are you?
Hello.
This is Linda Park.
Yes, I've changed a lot over the years. It's
Ridiculous.
yeah.
Communications expert. Fantastic.
She's put on a couple of pounds.
Yeah, no kidding.
And become a fella.
But, it's all the rage.
A lot of the kids from those days did.
That's good. I got it.
Oh, please put that out.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, welcome back. First off, thank you, everyone. I'd like to welcome to the show a very good friend, Izaak, from the Unplanned Trek podcast, who has been kind enough to watch The Cage with us.
Hi.
How's it
Thank
going?
you. Hello, guys.
Hi, Izaak.
I'm really excited. I've got a couple of segments for you guys to really test if you were watching today.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And for those of you who don't know, Unplanned Trek podcast is a show where they watch random episodes of Star Trek and then they present awards for the show. The Keiko O'Brien Award is for the most irrelevant character in an episode. The Worf Award is for the best fight, et cetera, and they contextualize each episode through presenting these awards.
Let me stop you right there. Why have I not won that award? Clearly, I had one of the best fights on Star Trek ever.
That's a good,
Explain yourself, sir.
Question for Izaak.
Look, it's a good question, but what I could say is the medal doesn't care about how good the fight it was. It only cares if there was a fight. So you get points per fight. So that if you had, like Kirk does, if you have 5 fights in one episode, you get 5 points. So the more fighting, the better.
It's a random.
And you don't have to win. You just have to be there.
Has anyone on this show won one of your medals?
The thing is, it's kind of stacked against you guys because there are more episodes of DS9 and Next Gen and Voyager that those episodes mathematically will get spun more often than us. So I said us because I consider myself part of the Enterprise crew.
Fantastic.
Nice cover. I tell you, I was about to walk off.
That's funny.
But no, there have been points awarded. You guys have got points before as well. So
clearly
don't
not
worry,
enough to win.
It's not in the irrelevant section. I can keep it nice. So, are you guys nervous about this?
Not at all.
I did set them up. They know that they're gonna each have a whack at the best and the worst moments.
I'm more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
And then you're gonna, test us. Izaak? What would you like to do first, best and worst, or would you like to do your?
Yeah,
test?
I think we'll do that first. So we're going to go for the Picard medal for the best moment of the episode. So this can be character, it can be a line, it can be a lighting decision. But anything that you saw in today's episode that you feel is the best, you've got to hit me up with that. I've got a winner, but I can be swayed by your argument. So it's not irrelevant. And the winner of this will get the Picard medal for the Cage episode. So with that long introduction in mind, who would like to go first with their favourite moment of the Cage?
I think it's got to be one of the scenes between Captain Pike and...
I thought you were going to say, I think it should be ladies first.
Well,
no chance of that.
Ladies first.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, go on then.
I mean, mine was more of a moment in the beginning between the Doctor, Dr. Philip Boyce, and Captain Pike. I just enjoyed their conversation and the
The martini scene?
Yeah, the martini one?
Yeah, and just kind of the depth of what they were saying and how he was so distressed. I mean, I don't know if that's an okay answer because it's kind of a 5-minute conversation.
That's a great answer.
But,
yeah. And it also kind of showed also Pike's darkness a bit too.
Yeah.
Like setting up the hero in a pilot to have doubt and anguish at the job. It was quite an interesting decision writing wise.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
Exactly.
they led with.
Yeah.
I found that scene still stilted in its timeline. That it was it could have been a scene in Mad Men. It just happened to be in the bedroom on a starship.
Yeah,
Very Mad Men.
And so perhaps wouldn't have been my pick particularly. I thought one or two of the scenes between what was the lead actress's name again?
Susan Oliver.
Susan Oliver.
Yeah.
I thought she had a couple of moments with him that you could put in a movie today, frankly. I thought her acting was exceptional and her reactions were fantastic, and the discovery between the relationship between men and women was timeless. And I thought that would have been one of those. Either there was a couple of moments in the picnic scene, or I forget, there was another scene after that.
The horse picnic?
Yeah, the horse picnic. There was another scene after that where they were tying up that whole relationship that I thought, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I'd have to say
looked a lot like that green woman too.
The green woman is my favorite scene because I didn't know it was her.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they told me.
And I love the fact that actresses in particular, actors in general, but particularly the actresses, they could do it all in those days.
Yeah.
They went to tap class, they went to dance class, they went to singing classes. They were all triple threats in those days.
Yeah.
Your favorite was a picnic or?
Well, there was. I can't. I'd have to go back and see that. There were 2 or 3 scenes between the captain and her that I thought were.
You're on Connor's Island and you have to pick one.
I just can't think of what that last scene was. Some of her reaction shots were just really special and timeless, and you could put that in a movie today.
Well, maybe you can choose her.
You like her.
Honestly, you like her.
Yeah.
So
there you go. That's good.
I thought she was terrific. Really.
Connor?
I just said it was when she's dancing as the green woman.
There you go. Got it. Yeah, okay. And Joe?
I liked the picnic. I liked the fact that they went back to his happy place, the place he's been threatening to retire back to. I thought that was really lovely, and that they showed what was the town that.
I tell you where it was. It was
Mojave.
Mojave. And that Mojave's been built up into this space age city in the background, but
with
it's
a St. Louis arch in the background.
But I thought that was really effective. I thought that was kind of the heart of the piece.
Yeah, and the fake grass, which we all need to put in our gardens now.
Yeah, that's another issue. Yeah.
There were some sensible answers there, and that kind of goes against what I'm looking for here. So one of you did get the best answer. So what I've got is the best part of the episode is the doctor for not only giving a martini, but also having ice. And I also made the comment, take that, Phlox.
Oh, yeah. Phlox never had ice for his martinis.
Oh.
Yeah. That's true. He did come
cool
with fresh ice.
The doctor gives you a house call and gives you a martini at the same time.
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to go to the doctor recently, and I just had to wait in the waiting room. No martini.
No concierge service.
Well, I also love the glasses with the little tip, the petri dish tip at the end. And he comes in with the.
So, Erica, you get a point this week.
Erica gets a point. Yeah,
that's it.
So the good has to be outweighed by the bad, and we have to do the worst moment, which we name the Keiko O'Brien medal here. Again, it doesn't have to be a character. It can be a moment, a line, a lighting choice, something that you looked at and went, no, I don't like
I've got that one.
Same here.
I've got that one.
Go on then, ladies first.
That's easy.
I know.
No, the other lady.
Go ahead.
when Pike is strangling the big brain guy, and he turns into the but the character from Banana Splits,
who was in the cage next door to him. I gotta say, I
didn't like that.
I thought it was. I just was like, oh.
I heard your reaction, and I thought that was like that you liked it.
Oh no, I was like, oh.
Yeah, you did physically react.
I did. I was like, that's not good.
That's funny.
But we'd already got a smattering of that character. He was in the cage next door to Pike when he first.
But it was the close up.
I guess it was the close up. It was gagging, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I'd go with the first reveal of 8-Man in the cage next door as opposed to Connor's choice.
Oh, Connor's pig 8-Man.
Yeah,
pig gorilla.
The first time we saw 8-Man in the
neighboring cage. Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, this is goofy. This is goofy." SH1T.
Yeah,
Joe.
That whole Attila the Hun battle in the fairy tale kingdom thing. Oh my!
Oh, I've quite forgotten that bit. That was scratched from my memory. I have to say,
Oh, with the caveman guy.
The guy with the hat with the battle and the
No, I think you're going to win, Joe.
That was rough.
That was rough.
Her hiding behind the wall was.
It's like run.
Run and hide by the wall. No, that was my second least favorite moment.
What was your first?
My first was, and this is me, like, putting this story in reality is when Captain Pike said to, sorry, I'm just looking at IMDb right now for the names, he was talking to, how do you say her name, Yeoman?
Oh, Yeoman, yeah.
And then he said, well, no, I don't want a woman on the
on the bridge.
He just had a martini.
Yes, it is true.
And then he has to say no offense to number one, and I'm like, well, I don't know what was going on exactly during that time. I know that women were probably struggling in their own ways.
The even weirder bit about that line is he goes, "Oh no, not you, number one."
Yeah.
And so what's different about her? Like, is she non-woman?
Yeah, he said.
Or is she,
he says, "Not you. I didn't mean you. You're different."
Yeah.
And it's the most demeaning. He
didn't say no offense.
It's not a good compliment.
He said no. He said something.
Not you.
Not you. You're different.
Yeah.
Well, you may you're not really a woman.
You're more like a man.
Yeah.
You're so big.
In the casting of it, the girl that comes to him with his 0500 report is the little ingenue.
Yeah.
And
they're involved because it's like, I told you not to show up at work.
Exactly.
That is exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
And it never came back around.
Yeah.
It did at the end. It's like, what is she doing back here? It's like the report.
Yeah.
It's, and God bless Majel, she was a handsome woman,
Yeah.
So what a damning compliment. She was a handsome woman.
I stand by it. In England, that is actually a compliment.
Yes, it is.
They do say that a lot.
Oh, yes, absolutely. She was a handsome woman.
Also, you say that a lot. Well, in England, we can do that.
Yes, everything's allowed.
I'm going to start using that.
Have any of you ever been there?
I think while it's a great conversational piece or topic, I feel like I just wanted to barf during that moment.
Oh, heavens. Yeah.
Barf.
No, that's fair enough.
How about you?
And it happened so
I
early,
would have
it's right,
taken a report at any time from the ingenue, I must say.
Which you can say in England. What did you think? What did you think?
Yeah, I hope you don't mind this being amateur of me, but I just received a text message. You mentioned that you can be bribed. Just sending you some money now. Connor, please don't read this out loud. Oh, sorry. Great. Some really good answers, but the worst bit of the episode was in the Orion scene where Pike is on his lounge chair and one of his mates goes, "Nice place you've got, Mr. Pike."
That guy.
That was good,
The bull guy.
While the green dancer was going, while Vino was
rough.
It's like, let's come here and watch your girlfriend dance. It didn't sit well for me. So
very creepy.
That was my bit.
Yeah.
But some really good other alternate answers there. And sorry about that, Connor. That was don't know what that was about.
That's all right. DM me later.
Now we've got a 3-round quiz. Have we got any prizes this week, Mark?
So no one won. You got the point. None of us.
Erica got the point for the Picard medal.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't swayed on the Keiko. So the Keiko is to the strange Leary man by the poolside.
Fair enough.
Got it?
I could go with that.
All right.
So I've got 3 quiz questions which are directly related to what you've watched today, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So have we got buzzers or is it hand up or just first answer?
We'll just yell out.
We'll just yell our names out.
I'll just squeeze Dominic and he'll make a sound.
All right. In the picnic scene, we saw 2 horses, and the name of one of them was revealed. What is the name of the horse?
Oh. It was revealed.
The name of that horse right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Dominic was making a joke about ecstasy, so
yeah. So we might have missed that. Yeah. There was a lot of chit chat during the episode.
Bonanza. What?
Yes, there's some bonanza.
What was the name of the horse?
Don't know.
Molly.
Come on,
Getting some blanks.
Yeah, blanks here. Yeah.
Giving up?
Yeah.
God,
All right. That horse's name was Tango, and the other one was just
Tango.
ignored.
Tango. What's the other one?
Yeah.
God, I did the commercial.
The other
for
one
that
was
drink.
the other one wasn't talked
named
about.
Yeah, an
and it
anonymous
wasn't
horse.
patted or groomed or anything. It was a purely Tango piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tango is the name of the horse. Well, for our British viewers, they will know me as the Tango Boy from the late 80s. That was a big soft drink in England. Yeah. I was the Tango Boy.
Orange flavored?
Still are. In your heart.
Yeah, it is orange flavored, funnily enough. Yeah.
Go on, sir.
I was just thinking that Dom's trying to get a bonus point here.
Yeah,
He's trying to slip in there. Trying to slip in on the Tango.
All right. So who said the line of the episode, which was, "The women"?
Oh, Mark.
Oh.
Mark.
Yes, Mark.
Spock.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
when they don't, when they only go down.
Yeah, on the
Oh, right.
transporter
That came
pads,
out
only
wrong.
The reason why it stood out as well is his delivery is so un-Spock. Like, you won't
it's very
hear it
on
like
Spock.
that.
Yeah, the
Couple
only
moments.
thing that he's doing is some sort of slightly staccato robotic voice.
Yeah.
That they've told him is
Especially in that
is Vulcan.
That opening scene on the bridge. He's very computer.
Yeah.
He's got that weird way of speaking.
Yeah. But there is no. You're right. I mean, there's no sense of character behind him.
Not yet. No, I mean, ears.
Apart from the
ears,
ears.
yeah.
But there's no sense of there's no sense of him having
Being
that,
Spock yet.
Being Spock yet at all.
Logic's not a factor. Okay, final question. Oh, this is an exact answer, though. So I'm going to go Price is Right rules, so closest without going over.
How much did it cost?
In the martini scene.
Yeah.
It's a new car. So in the martini drinking scene, we are told how many crew Pike is responsible for.
Oh.
Yes, Erica.
So we each guess, and it's whoever doesn't go over.
20?
No. 562.
Oh, I think you're
18.
referring to the number of people who
Died.
died under his command.
Oh,
That's what it was.
8, I think. No?
300.
Mark says 240.
Yeah, but is that crew members on the ship or people who died?
Excuse me.
I took it to mean crew members.
I'm going
because you can't be responsible for the family.
I'm going 562.
It's a good number.
right.
It's not right, but it's
One of the better numbers.
That's one of the
Mark was close, but he went over. And Price is Right rules. You have to.
What was his? What was Mark's?
200.
230.
He said 248.
I said 240.
Yeah.
I said 8. I guess he wasn't feeling so guilty after all.
That was just the
makes
handsome
Erica the
ones.
winner.
The handsome winner.
I think Erica's actually closest without going over. You said 20.
Yeah.
Pike said 203.
Oh.
Well, 248 is closer than 20.
You can't go over.
Oh, you can't go over.
Price is Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are some,
What do I get?
Wow, Erica's got 2
The real cheaters on that show, they just say $1, so they get everything under. Not that I watch it.
No, at all. Daily.
But I'm going to have to go. Price is Right's about to start here.
Well, Isaac, thank you for coming on the show and playing this game with us. We
Thank
look
you,
forward to
Isaac.
having
Yeah,
you
thank
back.
you.
Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
nice to meet you, mate.
So we're going to talk with Joe about his review
Uh-oh.
and about the episode.
Do-si-do.
Joe's main points about this episode had to do with the effects, had to do with gender roles.
I wouldn't say effects. I'd say more set design, art direction.
Yeah.
Okay, set design, gender roles, big ideas.
Yeah.
Versus world building, and your own preconceived misconceptions or conceptions about what Star Trek is or was or has been.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we start with the gender roles, because that was kind of one of the first things that popped up. You talked about the sexism, and you talked about the dehumanizing number one, and you know, we all commented on it. It was one of Erica voted it as one of the worst moments in the episode.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I know everyone was...
and you said, but the 60s.
But the 60s, I mean, it really was, I think you nailed it, Dominic, is the Mad Men vibe. You know, I mean, that was the era where you could say these things, you know. I remember just the first few reviews I wrote. I mean, it was all about, you know, these smarmy crew members talking about, you know, one of the female crew members. It's just rampant for a while.
It is, isn't it? In the first episode, it's skirt, skirt, skirt.
It really is, and they dress them in the little mini dresses, and there's that look. You know, they kind of hey, check her out.
Yeah, check out the blonde. You know, yeah, she's good for a coffee.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly, and that whole approach to number one. I mean, naming her number one. I mean, it's already, you know, desexing the whole thing. And then, but the interesting thing was then at the end, they bring the two into the cage with him. Yes, and it's revealed that the ingenue is longing for Pike, and so is number one. Number one has to keep a lid on it, but she's got a crush on him too, and is jealous of this other one. I mean, it's like everybody's got this little harem going, you know. Which again, I mean, it's.
And he's supposed to choose.
And he's supposed to choose which one is the most worty to carry on the race with. I mean, you know, anyway, what would you guys talk? Yeah, you know. It was. I mean, yes. There was
I really feel for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you know, if he'd been in another part of space.
The part with the green women, you know, that's a whole other thing.
Do you think Roddenberry's idea of calling... I mean, it was his wife too, Major. Number one, was that...
was number one his wife?
That's Major Barrett,
his wife. I didn't realize that. Oh.
Yeah. Was that his... Wasn't that meant to be some sort of... some way of showing that there was an equality between the sexes? I think that's really what he was trying for.
Yeah, that women are leaders too.
This in the world that we live in, this is how women are treated in the business world.
Yeah.
When she comes up with the 0500 report.
Yeah.
But this is how we should be treating women in the workplace.
I'm not used to seeing women on the bridge.
Exactly.
Or, you know, but you should get used to it.
A clumsy way of doing it. And it kind of, you know, backfired. Yeah. But I got the impression that that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what he was trying to do?
I do.
Well, you know, you have to judge it by its time. And that's the thing. I know, as for anybody who is unaware, I have never seen an episode of Star Trek through my entire life. So this was the first episode I ever saw of Star Trek. I'm starting to review them.
I want to circle back to that.
Yes.
How did you live a life? How old are you, love?
That is not necessary.
That's not a fair question.
I'm timeless, according to the universal.
How did you never see one episode of Star Trek?
I'll tell you very, very briefly.
And by the way, I'm very good in it.
Now I've seen all the pilots for the first, however many series. I very, very briefly, I think we had discussed this when we did that other podcast, but when it was premiering, when I was a kid, I was about 7 years old.
Right.
And I was looking forward to it. They were advertising this thing. I said, this is going to be the best series ever. And it was the one freak occurrence that my parents actually went to a party at somebody else's house and said, no, we've all got to go. And I said, no,
I can't miss that first episode. And once I was one of those kids where if I missed the first episode of something, I said, I won't know who the characters are. I won't know the plot. I can't watch it now. Yeah. And it's ironic because it wasn't even the actual pilot. It's ridiculous. So, but then by the time I said, I should catch up with Star Trek, I should really see what all the hoopla is about. It looked so dated and goofy, and I said, I can't watch this.
And how much later on was this?
Well, then,
by the time you
that was maybe in my teen years or something. Right. Yeah. And I couldn't go back to that. I figured, all right, I missed Star Trek completely.
The Saint, which was
The Saint,
Roger Moore's big show, was Friday night, and my mum dragged me to catechism classes.
Oh my God!
I can't even tell you the despair of being tutored by nuns and missing the Saint.
Oh my! Yeah, and missing the Saint. Wow, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful, isn't it?
Missing the Saint because of the nuns. That was my experience with nuns too. Yeah.
So
wow.
So you never saw an episode.
Never saw an episode. So I'm approaching all of these pilots and eventually, hopefully, other series, other shows within the various series. Absolutely fresh. So I'm just coming at this and saying, okay, paper mache rocks, all that stuff that you're getting for the first time. But I was intrigued by Jeffrey Hunter because he was obviously Jesus and King of Kings, Nicholas Ray's King of Kings.
Right.
So he had that, he was famous for that. He was famous co-starring with John Wayne in The Searchers, probably John Ford's best movie. So he was a real movie star. I thought he was nicely understated. I thought, he was kind of a good, quietly, authoritative. So I don't know. So I enjoyed.
Drier than what I say.
Drier,
what
yes.
what does Mr. Shatner bring to the role that makes it a series?
Well, what do you think? What do you guys?
Well,
think?
I think that there's a bit of a camp quality to Shatner.
Yeah. Not at first though. Those first few episodes,
and
he's pretty cool. He's not too campy. I don't think. But he
also owns a sexuality about him. There's a Captain Kirk is a sexy captain. I don't think your man Hunter is a good looking
but
handsome,
stoic.
strong man, but stoic.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that.
No,
it's such a thing, isn't it? They call it the
Kirk
X
would have
Factor.
chosen a girl, is what you're saying. Kirk would have made the choce. He would have chosen one of the women.
Yeah.
With a raised eyebrow.
Yeah, he would have been like, this is terrible, I'll choose this one.
Yeah, that's right.
But
that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, there is, isn't it? That's that strange X Factor thing that
charisma. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, God bless.
Did you say that Jeffrey Hunter died in the late 60s? I mean,
I was just reading it that he died in 69. He
42. You said
hit his head.
Oh my God!
At 42, died a couple of days later.
That's interesting. William Holden.
Oh yeah,
the drunk, as he tended to be, hit his head at home, and when they discovered his dead body the next morning, they discovered all these Kleenex that he had tried to stop the bleeding on his head with, and eventually just bled out. So, yeah. So not to bring the room down,
people fall.
Yeah.
I was sober as a judge trying to rescue a spider. Stated for the record.
Can of Raid. It really would have saved it.
Because I'm a good man.
I know. You're a good man to the spider.
But you spoke about the sets and the crinkled, aluminum foil or whatever it was.
Paper mache rocks.
Paper mache and all that. And I have to say that, yes, at first you're like, whoa. But after a while, you just sort of get used to it.
You do. And I think my problem in seeing this fresh after, a million years is I'm judging it by maybe the movies at the time. I mean, something like 2001 or some of the sci-fi films coming out were so sleek, and so much of it was about mind control, but not about humanoid aliens. You know what I mean? There was stuff that just felt like it had already advanced, and this felt like it was regressing back into Lost in Space territory, and at least visually. And
Well, Well, it was TV.
Yes.
And TV of its time, and I'm sure the budget for the original pilot was not enormous.
Well, yeah, weren't you?
The sets were actually they were quite expensive, actually, the sets for this original pilot.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't,
the paper mache budget must have been through the roof. I mean, it was just...
all the parties and all the birthday parties in town were all shut.
Let me tell you, Joe, there were a couple of those rocks that were used on our set.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure they recycled them well.
Yeah. Stamped Desi Lou 66.
That's right.
Wasn't one of you guys over there telling me that, I think it may have been Chris, was mentioning that the budgets in those early days were absolutely, poverty row in terms of what they had to spend, right?
I believe, I would imagine.
Comparatively, yeah.
Yeah. So, resourceful for that. But, the other thing that dawns on me is we're here in L.A., we have perfect alien landscapes. I mean, all these desert
but that's expensive to go
landscapes.
to.
Yeah.
Going on location.
You got Vasquez Rocks, which would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
No, it's a fortune to go on location.
Yeah.
And you've got to shoot with the light.
Right.
So you've got to be there at 4 in the morning.
You're at the mercy of the weather.
And you don't know what the weather's going to be.
That's true.
And you've got to get, if you don't get those 8 pages in that day,
right. So that's
you
true.
are screwed.
That's true.
Yeah. So,
as the series went on,
Right. You could control that in the studio. That's true. Yeah.
They always prefer shooting on the studio. We shot a little bit on location, but I mean it was rare.
Bless you.
I mean, if we went half a dozen times, I don't think we did.
But by the time the time your series came up, there were tremendous advances in what it looked like visually. I mean, it was a much better looking show, don't you think?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we were gorgeous.
And we were gorgeous.
I tell you, you were gods.
I think the set was a little distracting, but because the story's so good.
Right, and that's where the big ideas come in. What they were grappling with, you say, all right, I'll put up with the sets for that.
Yeah. It's weirdly charming in a way.
Yeah,
just how
yes.
Because they did the best they could, I imagine,
with
what the budget they had, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think, Joe, at its core, what do you think, what was the essence of grappling with humanity with these, the Thelosians capturing, and I mean, what do you think Roddenberry was trying to show, to put the mirror up to mankind?
I don't know. It seemed like his punchline was, wow, you guys, even if things are comfortable, captivity is just, you'd rather kill yourselves than
the Matrix.
And it's, I think that was a big part of it. And also forcing Pike to question.
Well, it was communism too, freedom.
Conformity.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, I was just watching John Oliver's show last week. Did you see it? It's all about solitary confinement in jails.
Yeah.
And how, frankly, inhumane.
It's inhumane.
It's inhumane,
right.
Even for the worst, even somewhat for the worst offenders. But they put you in solitary for having too many cigarettes, and it's just
No, it's horrible. Horrible.
And we wonder why, when people get out, they reoffend.
And that seems to be a theme that comes up a lot in the Star Trek pilots, is aliens saying, "Well, humans, you people are horrible. I mean, you're we have to destroy you. You're going to destroy the universe. You're so aggressive and you're so intolerant and you're so you're cruel to each other and everything." And that seems to come up over and over again, as it did in the Twilight Zone too. I think.
And then there's sort of their benign surprise that Pike and, if he's a representative of humanity, actually surprised them with his choices, or
right, That, he just didn't go along with things. Yeah,
that at our gut instinct, we're actually good, good species.
Yeah,
fallen but good.
And that seems to be it comes up in pilot after pilot, is how can we prove to these aliens that want to destroy us because we're assholes? How can we prove that actually humans have heart and we care about at our core,
and that you can really fall forward.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's biblical, really.
Yeah.
you know, that, yeah.
You know, something, and again, this is, I think, the fundamental problem I have with the whole Star Trek thing. Sorry, but is I just have a problem personally with. I love sci-fi, but I have a problem with sci-fi that imagines that when you land on a planet, and this comes up a lot in the future pilots, and I'm sure it's going to be every episode I watch, that you land on a planet and the air is breathable and it's like a nice afternoon in LA. Yeah. every you just need like your little velour shirt, you know, and there's some nice slacks. And you're going to meet people who look just like you because, of course, in the universe, if there are other life forms, they've got to look like us, you know. And it stops me dead in my tracks. And what something I was discussing with Mark was the idea that it feels like adventure stories for teenage boys, you know, or going back to to Jason and the Argonauts and to all of these adventure tales. They're just replacing it with planets, but it's still these fantasy things. That's why I had such a problem with going back to the magic castle and the damsel in distress and the guy who was, you know, like Attila, you know, and I think and that wasn't just giving him you know, a planted idea. He talks about, oh, this is like 2 weeks ago when we were on that planet. They sent me back to that planet to play this out again.
Play that out again.
So that actually happened. We had the guy with the furs and the castle, and I thought, you know, it just that's the stuff that it's hard for me.
It's got some goof.
Yeah, but that's going to be at a certain point. I think it was about 6 reviews in. I said, I surrender. I capitulate entirely. I can't. Everything is going to be this. I can't be saying I don't like this aspect of Star Trek because it's the entire world of Star Trek is this. Yeah. So you can't just say, oh, I wish it was something else. I wish it was Blade Runner. I wish it was, you know, Battlestar Galactica. It's not. It's Star Trek.
Well, interestingly, we did an episode where it was an alien and Trip on a planet, just the two of them, sort of like, you know, Hell in the Pacific sort of idea.
Yeah.
And he just spoke. There wasn't in English. He spoke
his language.
an alien language.
It's a lovely episode, that.
It is a nice episode.
And they struggled to understand each other.
Yeah.
It's a lovely episode.
Usually they speak perfect English, you know, like a newscaster. You know, oh, I'm glad you.
But there becomes you get an unwritten understanding of each other.
Yeah. See, that's great. I like that.
And a reciprocal helping of one another to survive this moment in this alien place.
And that's a rare event, though. Yeah. It is.
But he was also a humanoid guy, right? I mean, or was he?
No, he was like a lizard.
He was a lizard person. Yeah.
Lizards can be nice. You know, I think it's our friend Chris here is a big fan of a series called Farscape, and he sat me down and tried to get me to watch this, where the aliens are played by Muppets, and I said, I'm out of here. I can't do Muppets. It. Oh my God. So anyway, but that's me. That's
what
my
do you
own
have
personal...
against Muppets?
Yeah, I know. I love them. I love them, just not as aliens. But you know, yeah.
We were talking just the other day how ironic it's going to be when we finally start visiting other worlds. We're going to get there, and it's going to be a bunch of fucking Muppets looking at us.
And they're living in garbage cans, you know. They're saying, look who's here.
I'm Kermit T. Frog. Welcome to our planet.
Welcome to our planet. Yay!
Hey, Fuzzy Bear.
I mean, usually we show up to a planet where it's run by slightly humanoid-looking Nazis.
Oh yeah,
and we sort out their shit. You know, free the people and move on to the next Nazi-run planet.
Which is kind of The Walking Dead too. It's like we're just trying to keep ourselves alive, and then we find civilization, but it's run by a Nazi. It's run by some horrible guy who, you know, and it's always that. It's played over and over again. Is that storyline of as soon as you have some survivors, we've got to have an authoritarian rule.
It's the CIA in space, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have the idea of the universal translator, but it just never gets mentioned enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a casual viewer, you miss some of that.
Right.
It's like when we post on all of our social medias and on our Patreon and everywhere we can think of that our audio podcast hosting service needed to be upgraded. So we're not up to date with our audio podcast right now. No one sees it, and we get millions of messages anyway.
Right.
So I have to keep responding. Like, we had to upgrade it. We had to upgrade it. It's like that.
Yeah.
We had to upgrade our audio podcast service. So,
the next pilot you reviewed is
I've gotten
is Next Gen. Is
I've gotten.
Or do we go to the second pilot of the original series?
Well, I started with this one. Then I went in order until we got to the actual pilot of the original series. So it's really a few episodes of the original, and then I started skipping from series to series. And I've gotten
jog my memory. So after this pilot we've watched, there are. I think
it's what, 3 more?
Did they do 3 episodes with this cast or something?
No. This is the only one with this cast. But then
they did William Shatner pilot, which the network liked.
Yeah. And then
so then they started shooting, but when they started broadcasting them,
they did them out of order.
They did them out of order. So the first pilot never aired. The second pilot played third, and 2 other episodes played before the second pilot.
So it's this one, the 2 other episodes, and then the actual what they consider the pilot with Shatner.
Yeah.
So it's those 4 are sort of all pilots in a way, you know. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
And then you did TNG.
Yeah, I did all of them up through Enterprise. And now the next one is going to be Discovery, so that I'm reviewing. Yeah.
About the aliens, Chris brings up a good point. There's an episode in The Next Generation that tries to explain why all aliens in our part of the universe look a little human. Why we all look alike.
I'll need to see that one. That'll be one of the, after we get through the pilots, I want to see that one.
Yeah.
That'll at least maybe put my tortured psyche at rest,
there
I can spoil it for you if you want.
There's time in the makeup trailer, and getting people on set in time, and
Well, and that was the point.
The limitations of what special effects makeup you could have in
exactly
68.
But that's the point I brought up. Is okay. This is an entirely alien life form because they've got ridges on the cheekbone, or because there's an elephant trunk, or because and it's
that would have been cool.
That would have been cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, elephant trunks are flopping, especially if they're flopping along as they're talking.
The makeup for the Thelosians, I thought was pretty good.
That was great. I did mention I love the pulsating.
I like the pulsating head. That must have been pretty tricky to pull off.
Yeah.
Somewhere, someone they had tubes running out the back of them.
Yeah.
You know it, and someone was pushing air bubbles.
They could have been because they were wearing those long robes.
I don't know that we've seen that effect from the cage. I can't think of an episode where we've seen that all the way until
we get
Enterprise.
Until we get the blue guys.
Blue Man Group, were they in
the Blue Man Group?
That's
God, I still resent that $400 I spent in Vegas seeing that damn silly show.
It's a fun show, not for $400, but it's a fun show. Yeah,
not for $400.
No, it's certainly not.
I tell you, that's when you go, that's the worst $400 I ever spent in my life.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
You didn't like the paint on the drums.
Didn't like any of it.
You didn't like any of it.
Didn't like any of it.
I can't blame you there.
I'm past sophomoric.
They look more alien than some of the life forms on Star Trek.
Honestly, some people you cannot believe their luck. They made so much money.
And there are lots of blue men. I mean, there are millions of them that go around.
Yeah.
But we digress.
Yeah. They said it was the original cast, but who fucking knows?
Please. Yeah, you can say that about anybody with the blue thing in there. Yeah.
So what's the next one? We got the next we got Captain
That's
Kirk's
a good question.
pilot.
I think that we should probably do Captain Kirk's pilot.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
And then maybe we could skip ahead to Next Generation.
Who knows what the story is then about bringing Mr. Shatner in? I mean, what was that recasting? Did we know?
Yeah, what was that? What did Hunter? Did they not like Hunter, or did Hunter say, "I'm not going to do this show"?
Well, I think, and I might be wrong, and I'm sure that the internet will let us know very quickly. But that. Westerns were all the rage. We talked about this, and Roddenberry pitched Star Trek. They're like, this thing in space with ships. What are you talking about? No, but it's a Western.
Yeah,
just in space,
which make that really makes
and they're
sense.
like, oh,
that really
now
makes
we
sense.
get it. Sure.
Yeah.
And when he delivered it, it wasn't a Western in space. One of our guests talked about this as well, Connor, where they were going to retool the show to make it more what the network wanted for the pilot reboot.
I submit.
But Jeffrey Hunter said no. because his wife didn't think it was going to go anywhere or something. They struggled too much with the original pilot.
All right.
You're right.
Do you recall that moment?
I can. No. She gets a bad rap.
I know she does.
She gets. Sorry, Yoko.
Was it early?
Miss Ono. We know you get a bad rap. But I can imagine that he might have looked at that pilot and gone, yeah, no.
Yeah.
You know.
And also Shatner looks more like a cowboy.
I'm doing movies with John Wayne, for crying out loud.
Yes, there's that.
Wait, did you say Shatner looks more like a cowboy?
Shatner has the swagger of a cowboy.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I'm thinking of The Searchers, but Jeffrey Hunter played kind of the callow, younger guy who was, he wasn't the iconic cowboy in that, really. So even there, he was kind of an ingenue lead in a way, you know? Yeah, that's interesting.
All right.
I think maybe why don't we, since we're not doing a Q&A, why don't we kind of wrap this up by rating this episode against what we know of Star Trek and what it's become.
You mean in context of the original series? Or in general?
Just in general. Like, if you watch this in a vacuum, what would you rate it? And we can just do 4 stars or...
I think it's classic Roddenberry. I think it has all the hallmarks of what he envisaged, and I've seen the pilots of all the other shows. If I was gonna, I'd give it a healthy 6.5, 7
out of 10.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I think
do you have anything that specifically to add on it? Any other?
Connor and I have both talked about this. I mean, I as a kid, I never saw this pilot, but I watched that show religiously as a kid, and I loved it. I mean, I just remember it being so different to anything else that was on our television sets.
Yeah.
It was the colors alone, the setting, the fact that it was in space, and I'm born in that generation. I was 8 years old when they landed on the moon.
Yeah.
You know, and they came back on my birthday.
Yeah.
And it was, and we watched it on a black and white TV.
Yep. Same here.
You know,
Same here.
And
Yep.
this was you know, it's hard to sort of impart what that felt like to a younger generation now. A modern generation.
Yeah, it was half a century ago that we went to the moon. It's like, you know.
And we're only just going to go back again there now. They're just planning to go back now.
Yeah, it was just announced yesterday or the day before.
It was groundbreaking stuff, and there it was on our TV.
Yeah.
And then we got color TVs at that time. I've said it many times, nagged my dad rotten to get one of the first color TVs in our street to watch Star Trek in color.
Saint.
Yeah, they didn't shoot that in color.
That's right. It was black and white.
That was black and white.
That's right.
So this was, big stuff.
I'd give it a healthy 7. I think that it did a good job at showing us what the future of that particular series was going to look like. I said earlier, I was surprised at how much I liked it, because I was expecting to think that it was just a steaming pile of crap, but it wasn't. And there were some real moments where the dialogue soared and the story soared. Look, we all know that pilots can be clunky cars when they're coming out of the gate.
Sure.
And I thought that as far as the clunkiness went, it didn't. There was some, obviously, but I quite enjoyed it, and I thought that it did a very good job, as I said, of we're launching the ship, no pun intended.
And even if I'd watched that as a 10-year-old, even the medieval Attila the Hun scene, I'd have loved it.
Would have been great. Yeah.
Sure. And frankly, all the big idea stuff would have gone completely over my head and under my legs. I mean,
I would have loved the Banana Splits character.
I know. I know. There's definitely H.R. Puffin stuff in there. So, in those early
Sid and Marty
episodes.
Croft were writing.
Sid and Marty Croft. Oh my God, it's true.
How about you, Erica, darling? What do you think?
I think I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
A healthy 6.
Healthy 6.
I've
just watched.
0
I mean, it's
point.
hard to say it's a pilot, like you guys said. So
Yeah.
that's a thing. I've watched a lot of Star Trek, so I can't help but think in terms of all the Star Trek I've watched, especially you guys, comparing it to you guys.
Yeah, that's a whole other level.
Well, we're 11s.
No,
That's right. This is the
dial.
go to 11.
No, I was going to say 11.
With a spinal tap of Star Trek, darling.
I've seen so many good episodes that it's hard. I want to give it like an 8 because it's a pilot and it was a first episode, but I was.
Don't knock yourself out.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.
I think ideas-wise, I would give it an 8. I think at least because I think just what they were grappling with, and I think it was really smart TV in that way. Obviously, the look of it, you have to put it, I guess, in the time period. The sexual politics, you have to put in the.
Yep.
So I mean, there are a lot of those things to contend with now. Watching it now is different than maybe what the intention was, but I thought there were some really interesting ideas.
Well, that's interesting too, because I was going to say that about Erica giving a 6. You are the youngest of us. Shran is younger, maybe. Yeah, Shran's younger.
I'm timeless.
You're timeless. But you're the youngest one here, and you. By the time you started watching TV, a lot of the stuff that they were tackling in the 60s and 70s had already been overcome largely.
Sure.
And it was a different set of challenges that they were tackling,
Right.
Yeah.
So that does the Mad Men feel of it, and that you wanting to puke in the very first scene because of the stuff with Pike and the yeoman and number 1 that,
It doesn't age well.
It doesn't age well, especially someone who didn't grow up with that.
I wonder what a 35-year-old watching that would have thought about those scenes and that dialogue.
The sort of in between.
Someone of the era who was mature. And
watching that at the time.
Would they just have accepted it that yes, that's the way life is between men and women in the workplace?
They'd be smoking their cigarette, have the secretary on their lap, and they'd say, "Let's watch the show."
They may have been impressed. Oh, look, they let women on the bridge.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would never happen in my company.
Exactly.
I mean, that scene would just not happen now.
No, of course.
So it's so interesting to watch it. Really,
yeah.
We don't have a way to close this out yet, but I'm sure we'll figure it out.
I was going to tap dance.
I would like to see that.
You probably have a tune for
Thank you, Joe, for the review.
Yeah, Joe, thank you. Well done.
And I put myself out there to the Trekkies that are outraged that I've never seen the show and dare to criticize it. I think I'm probably going to be challenged to a duel by someone in Spock ears at some point, but I humbly submit to you guys that I'm actually enjoying this journey a lot.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
well,
I
and
really
that's,
am.
Yeah, as
really
part of the conversation we've had, where to me, the exciting part is having a conversation of what Star Trek is, and starting with the very basics and going through it.
Yeah.
I've seen every episode. You've seen none. Erica is new to Star Trek, and she's learning about it with us.
Yeah.
Connor and Dominic, you were in Star Trek, but a lot of you've been limited, and you've not seen every other episode in every movie.
No. This is the last year I've seen more Star Trek than I ever thought I would have watched. God knows I hadn't even watched our show. Until we started doing this.
It's really my hope that this show that we're doing now will be a conversation with the greater Star Trek community, the fans of Star Trek, the fans of our show already, and that it'll be an ongoing conversation that'll grow into something bigger.
I like the when you called it in a light way, sort of Star Trek school.
Star Trek school.
We're all kind of learning about it. It's great. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and long may it go on. I get its longevity. I mean, it's. It's there's something unique about it. You can't deny that. Yeah.
Do we want to?
And there's something definitely unique about the fandom.
Yes, there is.
And God bless you for it.
Well, when the pen hits the paper for the next time, we'll have you back, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to. This is an honor to be with you guys.
Oh well, it was great to have you, man. Your review was bang on, insightful and thoughtful, and beautifully written and presented.
Absolutely,
man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all very much. Thank you all for being with us. Next episode will be better, and we'll include you, hopefully. Thank you, guys.
And Wash.
Wash,
darling.
Yeah, we forgot Wash.
Loved it.
He's in Star Trek school too.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
See you.
Like, subscribe, and join us on Patreon.